Hey everyone, it's Jason Wheelock, co-host of Between Two Trains, and I want to invite you to my group, the Wheelock Group, at Keller Williams, our end of summer party, the Dog Days of Summer, August 18th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Brookhaven Park. Join us for food, ice cream, games, and quite possibly some adult refreshments as we celebrate the end of the season. We're partnering with Canine Caravan Rescue, a local nonprofit which is helping save dogs from being put down at local shelters, and they'll be bringing some local canines out to the park to hang with us. It's totally free, so sign up today at our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wheelock Group, and we hope to see you there for a lot of fun and for a good cause.
Hi, this is Theo, and you're listening to Between Two Trains, a bi-monthly business podcast where we interview the best and brightest entrepreneurs in the North DeKalb area. Today, your co-hosts are Van Pappas of Oxygen Financial and Jason Wheelock of Wheelock Realty. And now, Between Two Trains.
Okay, welcome to Between Two Trains. Thank you, Theo, for that great introduction. You just get better and better. I'm a little biased, obviously. And like every episode, we have a co-host. This time, I'm so happy to reintroduce Jason Wheelock back from his travels around the world. Jason, welcome to the show.
That's right, Van. Glad to be back. I summited Mount Kilimanjaro a few weeks ago.
That's awesome.
And I made it.
Yeah?
Because I'm here.
Did you throw up at all?
I did not. I did have a little bit of oxygen deprivation.
Yeah.
Okay. I know
now, how high is
how
high? Yeah, exactly. Right. There you go. I love the plug. Thanks a lot. How high is that mount?
19,400 and some change.
Okay.
Yeah, feet. So.
And did you have like a pack? Did you have to take stuff up with you, or did you have it? You had a Sherpa, right? You had some guy carrying stuff for you.
So
he was carrying you, right?
You would think we were with an entourage. It was 3 of us with 14 porters.
Okay.
So that's how many people it takes just to have enough equipment and food and supplies for 8 days in the wilderness. So it was the 3 of us and a bunch of folks walking up a mountain. It was a good time. I recommend it.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you made it back. Well, I have to tell you, you've been gone for a few episodes.
I know.
But we have some really exciting news. So the statistics out there are that the average podcast only lasts 11 episodes. Guess what episode this is? Number 13, baby.
Lucky 13.
We have beat the averages. We are big time now. And as you know, we are on all kinds of different platforms. We are on Google Play Music. We're on iTunes, now on Stitcher. And one of my favorites is, check this out. This is what great technologies. Do you have an Amazon Echo? Or one of those devices?
I don't. I'm a little behind with the Echo.
All right. So technology-wise, the Echo's pretty cool. I got one in my house. My wife didn't like it, but I got it anyways. Mm-hmm. You can now listen to Between Two Trains on your Amazon Echo.
Wow.
You just pull up your Stitcher app and ask to play Between Two Trains, and there you go. And going a step further, one of the great things about the device is Amazon has their AI, right? Their artificial intelligence. They call it Alexa. You know, we have Siri. Amazon has Alexa. Well, you can ask Alexa for a flash briefing where you can get all kinds of news every morning. And guess what one of your flash briefings can be? It can be Between Two Trains. You can add Between Two Trains to your flash briefing, and it will tell you what upcoming episodes of Between Two Trains are, who we're going to have on as the next guest.
Man, that's insane. We're becoming
pretty hardcore.
Quick,
we are.
Well, hey, I know that you never do anything average, so I'm totally not surprised that we're at episode 13.
Episode 13.
So we're going to keep going.
I'm stoked. So we're going to keep going. You're right. We have a bunch of great guests. I want to bring on today's guest, Regina Weir from Factory Atlanta here in Chamblee, Georgia. And as always, we come to you from the Chamblee Chamber Studios, who have now moved their offices over to the PDK Airport. The plush studios of the Chamblee Chamber.
I don't know about this, Van. I feel like I'm in a holding cell right now.
Yes, this room is a little tight, but We'll get it done.
Anybody but you, and it wouldn't work.
But Regina, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much
Hey,
for
Regina.
having me. Hi.
So are you stoked that you're on episode number 13?
Oh my
You've beat
gosh.
the averages. You came just at the
Yeah.
right time.
I'm always just arriving at just the right
There
time.
you go.
And 13 is a lucky number, actually.
All right.
Yeah.
It is. Why is that a lucky number? I thought it was
I
an
don't know,
unlucky
certain
number.
things that are like I feel are unlucky are lucky for me. So like every time a black cat has crossed my path, I found money, and just like as a young person,
Oh,
yeah,
you're like doing the
So-
reverse of the rest of us. I see
Against
how
the
it
grain.
is.
against
That's
the
right.
grain.
So, Regina, tell us about Factory Atlanta. What exactly is Factory Atlanta?
So Factory Atlanta is an event space in Chamblee. We are an industrial style event space, so it's a blank canvas for somebody to create something totally unique. We're interested in having one-of-a-kind experiences as opposed to, just a cookie cutter wedding or anything like that. We want people who have a vision to come in and create something amazing.
Cool.
And this is located right here in Chamblee, right?
It is. So we are across the street from Jim Ellis University.
Okay.
Over on New Peachtree Road, and our entrance to the space is actually in the back of the building. So when you look at the front of the building, it just looks like a regular red brick industrial warehouse.
Yeah.
But we've done some things to the exterior and the back of the building, and that's kind of what we wanted. We wanted people to kind of look in the front, kind of question where they are, and then go to the back and feel like they've discovered something really special.
Now, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Van. I was just going to ask you, so every entrepreneur has a story. Was this a total pivot for you to create this idea, or did you have a background in hospitality? What led to this?
Well, I have I've tried my hand at a lot of different things, but I moved down here in 2008 to help my parents with their linen rental company, which was operating in the building that we're in right now. I helped build it into the biggest linen company in Atlanta. So we were we were doing linens for everybody from Classic Center in Athens to Turner Field here in Atlanta, Bacchanalia, all the Applebee's in the state.
Wow.
All the way to Auburn, Alabama. So I was running like 9 routes out of our building, but helped sell it in 2016. And we were left with...
Wait. Your parents sold the linen business in
the linen
2016?
business, yes.
Okay.
And so we sold the business, but we had some specialty stuff, like specialty items like chairs and tables and specialty linen. And then we were left with a lot of space because the business did not want our building, which is really...
The group that bought the linens business,
did not want
they
our
just
building.
wanted the business. They said, we're going somewhere else.
Exactly. They had a processing plant over in Watkinsville, so that's why they didn't really think that they needed our
They were
building.
taking out the competition is what they were doing.
Yes, exactly. But we were happy. I mean, it was a lot to handle for us, and it was just the right time to sell. And so we were left with a lot of space and a lot of event rentals. And so it just kind of made sense. So it was a pivot, but I have a little bit of background in rentals.
Okay. All right. And so now when your parents sold the business, you were working for them, you were managing it, but they owned it, they sold it, they've now retired?
They have retired. They still have another business that I manage, which is the
Okay.
manufacturing.
True entrepreneurs. Maybe we should have gotten Regina's parents on the show.
They are true
Seriously.
entrepreneurs. They
What's
built something
their
out of
new
nothing.
business?
It's not a new business.
Okay.
This business, the manufacturing, has been around since '94.
Okay.
They opened it over in Duluth first, then they moved to Norcross, and then when we bought the building in Chamblee, they moved it to Chamblee.
Okay. And it still exists
Yes.
under the it's not under the Factory Atlanta name. That's a different company name, right?
Yes. So Linens USA is the uniform manufacturer. Our biggest customers are like Cintas and GNK just sold to Cintas, but Cintas, UniFirst, a lot of the big uniform companies.
Okay. So that's basically making uniforms for large organizations.
Exactly, which is why then I called the factory Atlanta the factory, because I'm always telling people, oh, I'm going to the factory today.
You're going to the factory?
And it's a real
there
factory.
you go. Okay. All right. So Factory Atlanta, though, is the entity that you're running your event business out of. And that
Yes.
was started in what year? 2016, you said?
Well, we sold A&D, which was a linen company in 2016. But this idea started in 2017.
Okay.
And we're not officially open. I have a lot of pre-bookings, but right now,
That's great.
It's been amazing. I feel like the community has been such so supportive, and I've just met so many people that believe in what I'm building over there. And it's been awesome. But it's been an idea for a year, and I've been working to get architects and GCs and the permits and all of that stuff, and that was a real process.
But during this whole time, you've still been managing your parents'
Yes.
Wow.
factory
That's
business.
time
So this
commitment.
is sort of a side hustle that's now about to turn into
The
a full-fledged business.
Yes.
Well, I love Jason as an entrepreneur. I just love people that
Yeah.
have what I call side hustles.
I know, right? I mean, being in real estate, you really see the trends of what's popular. And right now, if you look across the country, these urban industrial spaces are getting repurposed. They're super cool. And so something like this is really appealing, especially to a younger crowd, right? What is it about your space that you think will be really and truly unique?
It's true. I mean, there's a lot of spaces in West Midtown that have this same style. It's industrial. It is what is on trend right now for events. But I think what makes us really unique is actually our location. And I've heard it time and time again that Chamblee is so attractive because people don't want to go all the way downtown and fight that traffic. And a lot of things in West Midtown are maybe a little bit difficult to find.
Right.
I've been to a couple, and some places are a little weird, location-wise. It's just a strange place to be at night. Same with some of our other competitors that are industrial. But Chamblee is it's different. It's, it's right in the middle of Metro. It's like Metro North can get to our space in 20 minutes, and so can the people downtown. And so it's really central. It's easy to get to. And I think the style, the way that we've designed it is also a little bit different than
Yeah, I
what people
think
have.
you're right about the easy to get to part between having 85 and 285 and then Buford Highway and Peachtree Boulevard. There's no hard way to get in and out of Chamblee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are shocked, actually, when they come. They're like, oh my gosh, it took me no time to get
Right.
here at all. Like, they think it's far away. And I'm like, Chamblee is so close to everything.
Well, and with West Midtown, there's a lot of room between here and West Midtown, and all these other neighborhoods between here and there don't have these styles of spaces, right? Buckhead, Midtown traditionally. So we always talk about this. West Midtown and Chamblee are basically the two locations, and so you're going to serve a whole different market up this way. I think it's great.
Yeah.
So speaking of serving in your market and whatnot, so who you said you had some pre-events already booked up. Who are renting your space? Is it wedding parties? Is it businesses doing retreats? Who's like the customer so far?
It's really across the board. I mean, a lot of bookings that I have are weddings, only because I've put our space on Wedding Wire.
Now, I'm not familiar with Wedding Wire because I've been married for 20 plus years.
Wedding Wire is a new thing that
Okay.
couples do, and they go on the site and they have a bunch of different vendors, so you can find whatever you need in whatever city.
Oh
that you're
man, I
in.
wish they had that in the
Yeah,
90s when
makes
I was
it
around.
Way easier for people.
You had
to
the Yellow
book.
Pages. We
Yeah.
didn't have that.
I,
We don't have that.
I actually had a wife. I'm sorry, I had a fiance.
Who
She
did
She
everything.
took care
Right.
of that. I just showed up.
Yeah, so Wedding Wire, you put an ad on, or not an ad, but a listing, and you pay for that. So people have been finding us through that. But it's been a lot of mitzvahs, actually.
Really?
I guess
Okay.
one person booked their mitzvah with us, and from there it was like
So
a lot
word
of people.
word of mouth is
Word of
huge
mouth
with
is
what you're doing.
huge, yes. Which I think that is going to be. I don't see myself doing tons of marketing. Of course, I'm going to keep doing my social media marketing and taking nice photos and making sure that my Instagram is, on point, or, and Facebook and stuff like that. But I feel like this industry is very word of mouth driven.
Now, when they come and they see it on Wedding Wire, do you have different sort of packages you present, or how does it work? Like, do I come in and say, this is what I want? Or do you have something already prearranged and they just sort of pick from?
So in the beginning, I was doing like one big blanket package. Like, this is how much it is. Everything is included. Whatever I have in-house, you can have, which actually comes out line item by line item a lot cheaper than most places. But to see a big number like that would scare people away. So I had to kind of change my pricing a little bit. So I made different packages, but then also I'm willing to be flexible. And I think that's one of the things that puts me apart as well, is that I want to be flexible and I want to help people kind of create what they want. I just seen booking other spaces, and it's like every little tiny thing they charge for. Like, oh, you're going to stay here until Monday. You need, the vendor's going to pick up on Monday. That's another charge. Oh, you want an extra chair. That's another charge. I just don't want to be like that. So it is package pricing that I've decided on.
Gotcha. And so let's say on a wedding, they want a certain type of flower. You're going to coordinate and handle that, or that's their responsibility?
That is their responsibility. In our contract, we make sure that they have a wedding coordinator that helps them with that sort of, those sort of details. I see myself doing this down the line, because I feel like people just need somebody to help them, kind of coordinate everything. It's just easy because I'm there. But it is their responsibility to do that.
How big is the space? What kind of square footage are we talking about?
So I have like one pre-function space that you can also rent alone, which is about 2,400 square feet. And then the main space, which is 5,600 square feet.
Okay.
What about corporate events? Are you targeting the corporate community as well?
I do actually have a couple corporate holiday parties booked.
I was going to say the holidays are coming up.
Christmas holiday parties, yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of these places, or, a lot of the corporate people, they haven't found us yet. But I have a feeling come September or October, when some of these people who haven't booked their holiday party are looking and we're open, will start to find us.
I think so, especially with that North Buckhead, Brookhaven crowd, because there's not a lot of relevant space if you're not renting out a restaurant in that section of town. So,
now, is there any segment that you say, I just wouldn't rent to them? Like, if I came to you, Regina, and said, you know what, I want to throw a rave. Could I rent your space to throw a rave?
Yeah. I don't know if it would be legal to throw a rave. I'm not sure.
Why not?
I guess we could
that'd be like your last
get a DJ.
event.
You get a DJ and put up some flashing lights, and boom.
I guess we could glow in the dark.
Some glow in the dark. Yeah, why not?
I don't know, Van. We're trying to keep things legal, at least for the first year, okay?
The Between Two Trains rave party.
I don't know. Yeah. It would be a really, really steep price. I mean, honestly, I would like to,
We could get all the listeners of Between Two Trains to come show up. They could see your
party
event
all night
space.
Long. Yeah. Hire a hot DJ.
He's always getting these wild ideas.
Well, let's change and talk a second about being an entrepreneur, because we have a lot of entrepreneurs, and the one thing that I really want to hit on about being an entrepreneur is that you're a woman entrepreneur. Now, I don't know if you heard, it was a number of episodes ago, we had an entrepreneur that had started a women's group, remember, where she was telling us about these other women entrepreneurs that all get together and talk about, how to be successful. So, do you find it challenging, or is there anything, coming from, hey, I'm in a man's world here, or is the event space really not a man's world?
I haven't really found that doing business here in Atlanta when I started helping my parents. The linen industry is very man-driven.
It's
very male. Yeah, it's a very male industry.
So did you get pushback when you were managing your parents' place, where you were on the phone and they're like, I'm not talking to you, put your dad on the phone?
Never, ever. I've never felt that way.
I love it. Strong woman entrepreneur. I love it, Jason.
Wasn't that episode, didn't we find out that Chambly was one of the top 2 or 3 cities for female entrepreneurs in the nation?
That?
I did not know
that. In the nation,
awesome.
Not just in
Shame
Georgia.
on you, you're a female.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
We are, it was like the top 7.
I was blown away. Yeah,
top 7
definitely
in the
within the top 10 for female entrepreneurs
that
of any city.
Very cool.
So,
and what was interesting, and I don't know from a statistic standpoint, if you could say, all right, well, we're not looking at all the numbers, but apparently women in Chamblee make higher incomes than men.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
on
wow.
average.
Tides have turned.
On average, the average woman makes a higher salary than the average man in Chamblee.
That is really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So you need to tell
Yeah,
all
so-
your female entrepreneur friends
to move to
locate
Chamblee.
to Chamblee.
Yes.
So
No, I found that it's been really great. The community here is awesome. I joined the chamber, and that was awesome. I'm like,
yeah, you can put a plug in for the chamber.
no,
They're
I think
great.
It's great. It's a great community to be a part of. And I just highly encourage people just to be involved in their community. And I think that they get a lot out of it.
So what would you say is the most challenging thing about being an entrepreneur? You're starting this business, obviously it didn't hurt that you already had a job, so you were earning income. It didn't hurt that your parents had already had an established, business. But here you are starting this event space. You didn't really need to go out and get funding, right? Because you're using an existing asset that the family owned.
I did have to get funding.
Okay.
So
was that a challenge for you, or
most of the funding came from my parents.
Okay, all right.
from the
So
sale
private
of the-
equity funding
Right.
from one specific investor.
Yes, exactly. I am on a short-term loan.
Mom
so-
and Dad, if you're listening to this, thank you very much. Regina, on behalf of Regina, she
Yes.
thanks you.
This episode would not be possible without you.
without
Without-
Mr. and Mrs. Kim. Yeah, I mean, I've been really lucky just to have all of these things in my favor.
Yeah.
My parents, number one.
Well, the big thing is you're taking it and running with it and doing something positive, right? And so it's exciting. It'd be neat to have a new venue in the area.
Yeah, I feel like, that's what I keep hearing is this is something that we need in Chamblee. I've heard it from a lot of people. So I just hope with this venue that I can also serve the community in some way and help, promote Chamblee. Have people
Now,
come from different areas.
Does the event business, do you have any employees? Is it just pretty much you, or how are you managing that?
So right now it's just me.
Okay.
I do the marketing, I do the selling, I do the showing.
You're wearing every
I'm doing
hat.
every single thing. I work with the GC, I work with the architect.
Jason, I gotta believe she's single. There's no way she can be
No
running
way.
her parents' business, doing this side hustle, wearing all the hats.
Yeah.
Are you married?
I got a couple.
I'm married with a toddler. Yes.
Oh, wow.
My goodness, I'm blown away.
I had
would
a couple
never
prospects
expect
for
it.
you.
I never would have expected that.
I know somebody just asked me today, how do you keep it together? And I'm not sure.
Well, that will definitely lead us into our next segment that we like to play a game called Hot or Not. If you've listened to the show, you probably know how this works. And Jason, I'll start us off. I'm going to say, is it hot or not to be married to an entrepreneur?
Oh, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Wow.
So your husband would say,
Oh my
not so
God.
hot.
Yeah, I always have a bunch of ideas.
Is
I'm
he an
working all
entrepreneur
the
too, or
time.
is he?
No, he's had a lot of different jobs.
Uh-huh.
He moved down from New York as well. We both moved down from New York, and he was working in the fashion industry. And so now he's just kind of trying to figure out what he's doing. But I think in the end, we'll be working on the factory together, to be honest.
So you'll bring him in as an employee.
Because I need the support, and I think
Gotcha.
it would be, a fun family business for us.
Yeah. Well, Jason, you got any hot or nots?
You have a lot of great options this time, Van. I'll tell you what. I like this one because it kind of hits close to home in my business, and it's sharing financial information with your employees.
But she doesn't have any employees.
I know, but
And I would hope she shares the information with her husband.
well, that's a whole different conversation.
I think it's good to share the financials.
Yeah.
I think it's hot. Yeah.
And you ran a business with employees with your parents, so
Yeah.
you know that's
Did you, when you were running your parents' business, did your employees know?
No, I don't think my parents would.
She's
They
totally
would-
for it, but she doesn't do it. No, but
That's not the way they would run.
That's
They wouldn't
not
have
the
done
way-
that.
No, they would not have. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a sort of a newer idea, right? To kind of disclose some of this
It
information.
is. It is. So 20-second comment there is 10 years ago when Atlanta went through a real estate crisis. Remax, one of their big franchises, shut doors in one day. All of the funds were frozen, and all of the agents thought that everything was fine the day before. So along comes Keller Williams, which I've been a part of for many years. They share their financials every month with every single independent agent in every office. So it created this atmosphere of openness between the brokerage and the agent. So it is a newer concept, though, because they were the first to do it. But I kind of threw that out there because it hit close to home. I think it's a good idea.
Well, how about this? Hot or not, solo entrepreneurs like yourself or partnerships? Would you bring in a partner to your Factory Atlanta?
No,
No,
I would not.
So solo entrepreneurs is hot.
Yes.
Partnerships
I
are
think
not
it's
hot. Why
partner-
aren't partnerships hot?
Partnerships are so difficult. I've tried to open a few different businesses with partners, and I just feel like expectations are never the same. The people always feel like they're doing more work or they've contributed more. I don't know. It just, for me, I like to be a solo entrepreneur so I can call the shots.
What about if only one person
Jason,
gets to be...
before you ask that, we need to take a quick commercial break to hear from our sponsors, and then we'll come back and finish up Hot or Not.
If you recently got divorced, you may be wondering how to pick up all of the financial pieces. Is it time to make a new budget, new goals, and get a new game plan with your investments? What about the best way to save money on your taxes? Take control of your money future. Go to oxygenfinancial.net to schedule a complimentary meeting today. Go to oxygenfinancial.net to get started right now.
Securities offered through Kester Investment Services, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Kester Advisory Services, an affiliate of Kester Investment Services. Oxygen is not affiliated with Kestra.
All right, welcome back to Between Two Trains. We are here with Regina Weir, and we are in our Hot or Not section. Jason, right before the break, you had another Hot or Not you wanted to run by Regina?
Well, since we are talking Chamblee and you're a new business, hot or not, downtown Chamblee right now.
Oh, this is one
It's
I
a
love to hear.
softball.
It is.
Crazy hot right now. It's insanely hot right now.
What? We ask that of every single guest, and they all pretty much say the same thing.
Yes.
I want to know why. Why is it hot? What is so hot about Chamblee?
I think I love the fact that you can just walk wherever you want to go. Like you can take MARTA and you could walk to downtown Chamblee. And I think in this sort of, the time that we're in right now, people don't want to be in their cars. They want to be able to walk and get something to eat, go do some shopping. And Chamblee is just it right now. Like we're just in the right place. And I think that downtown Chamblee has made some really great choices in who they have, opening up down there, and just the type of businesses that are there are great.
I agree.
Would you ever entertain bringing on any? You said you didn't like partnerships. Would you ever entertain bringing on equity investors? Basically people they're just looking to invest in your business. They don't want to be a partner. Is that something to help raise, or from a financing standpoint, that's really not something you'd entertain?
I wouldn't ever say no, but right now it hasn't really.
Yeah, it hasn't been a need.
No, not yet.
Well, you've been listening to Between Two Trains, and we've had Regina Weir from Factory Atlanta. So, Regina, if the people listening to this podcast want to rent your space, what do they have to do? Where do they go?
So they can go to the website, www.factoryatlanta.events. That's very important because people think it's .com, but it's .events.
I didn't even know you could do dot events.
You could do whatever you want.
Really?
Yes.
Dot what the hell?
Yes, you can. We could. So www.factoryatlanta.events. Or you can look at our Instagram, which is at factory_ATL. And you can also just give us a call.
You're welcome to tell your phone number if you want to tell the audience what phone number to call you.
Yeah, 770-455-9223. But everything is on the website, all of our information, our address, my email, everything. So
Yeah, I noticed Van over here on the website booking our Between Two Trains holiday party. Or is it a rave?
I think
All night rave.
The rave. Yeah.
All night holiday rave.
Yeah.
Holiday. I like it. Holiday rave in downtown Chamblee.
I'll start working on the decor.
Sponsored by Oxygen Financial.
We'll have an oxygen bar sponsored by Oxygen Financial.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. We do have an oxygen bar in our offices.
You
So when clients come to the office, if they want to check out the oxygen bar, they can.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, I'm coming over. I've never done it before. I've always been curious.
So before we go, one last hot or not that I want to throw in here.
Mm-hmm.
So in my industry, getting feedback, from clients and customers, basically a customer service survey, if you will, is important because it helps me judge, how I need to change my business. With the event space, how do you judge whether or not you did a good job? After the event's over, is it just word of mouth feedback? Hey, oh, this was great. Or are you going to do something as an entrepreneur and a business owner to collect that data?
I hope that, what I want to do after each event is to go out and search for a review and have them post something, on Wedding Wire or something like that, just to kind of tell people.
There's that Wedding Wire. I got to check out this Wedding Wire. I
You
know
have-
nothing about it. So
But
people
you
can.
have no need to.
And I've never been married, so both of us don't have any reason. I always measure my business, because we're both in service businesses, by the way, by referrals.
Yes.
So if somebody had a great experience with me, I get referrals. So I think that's a great, probably in event space even more so.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, already, like somebody's already booked their bat mitzvah and or their daughter's bat mitzvah, and somebody just called yesterday and said, oh, they really liked you, they love the space, and we're interested in booking our nonprofit gala. So it is a lot of that as well.
So obviously
I'm excited.
referrals in Jason's business, you mentioned referrals a couple times in this. So does that mean traditional paper marketing is out the window? Or would you send flyers, postal mail flyers to people to get the word out? Is that your parents' generation?
Yes.
That not your generation?
It's not my generation.
Mail is not dead.
Mail's not dead?
Yeah, and I could go into this, but I think it has to be highly visual and high quality now, because nobody gets anything cool in the mail. So I find a lot of people, if you send them something really cool, they like it. But I don't know. You're just getting started and you're already pre-booked, so you're doing something right.
It's that side hustle, man.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's the side hustle. Well, Regina, thank you so much for coming on the show. You've been listening to Between Two Trains. We've had Regina Weir from Factory Atlanta. You can reach out to her, and you can listen to Between Two Trains on all kinds of sources: Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to your podcast. Or you can go to our website, betweentwotrains.com. That's between2trains.com. Thanks for listening.
Hi, this is Greg Burke.
Hey, Jan Levy.
Hi, this is Jeff Hill with Remote Home Check.
This is Kathy Kanev. You've been listening to Between Two Trains.